Welcome back to my YouTube channel where we talk business, faith, and finances. Today we're going to talk about building multiple passive income streams now. And I will be looking at my notes. So a little bit about me. I left corporate America in my 30s, became debt-free 4 years ago, fixed my negative credit, owned two successful businesses, wrote a financial curriculum, and started from the bottom. No rich parents, no rich friends, no rich relatives, no lotto, or any handouts. Now, no judgment if any of you had these things, but I am talking to, this video is catered to my warriors, those who grew up in a single family home, maybe a single parent home, having to grassroots everything, starting from the bottom, not a huge community of support, maybe considered a lone ranger, misunderstood, a misfit, different, yet you are driven, you're a hard worker, you're determined, you're proactive, you refuse, like me, we both refuse to become a victim, and you will never ever give up. So if this is you, I want you to stay tuned because I'm going to tell you how you can build multiple streams of income right now. I'm currently doing it. I'm living proof, and I'm going to help you to do that. All right, so let's get into it. A little bit more about my background, what qualifies me, so that you know that I'm just not some blow Joe on this channel just talking. I worked in life insurance in the early 2000s, pretty much over half of my life. And that's all I knew. I started out in the dinosaur age. Yeah, way back then, when we literally went to people's houses and knocked on their doors, and we actually collected the premium for their insurance, meaning the payment for their insurance. Yep, literally a guy tried to pay me in all coins, and I literally cried and called my supervisor, and he's like, yes, you have to take that money. And I had to sit there with that person and count out in coins their premium payment and take it with me. So yeah, it was a dangerous and very risky job, but someone had to do it, and I was one of the ones that did it. I also went into individual homes. Oh my gosh, I'm stuttering even right now because it was frightening back then, and even the thoughts of it is a little frightening. I went into individuals' homes and sat down and talked to them about why they needed insurance. In the process, I canceled people, individuals who were on the brink of divorce. I pet sat, literally animals taller than me sitting next to me in their home, but I was in their domain, so I had to do what I had to do. There are moments where I cried with the client. I cried literally, did they know I was crying because I was kind of miserable at that situation, but I had to do what I had to do. I may even laugh sometimes with the owners of the residence or those individuals who were there, so it wasn't all bad. Fast forwarded to 2015, I left a company where Charlie Brown was the mascot and the Charlie Brown factory. I won't say the name of the company just because I don't want to have to bleep anything out or remake this video because we put a lot of work and energy to these videos. But I decided to do what I was doing for the Charlie Brown mascot company for myself. And that is, I became an independent life insurance agent where I no longer got paid. My commissions were not split with the company, meaning they paid me a salary or an hourly, and they got bulk of the money. So when I did that, that is where I figured out how to be successful on my own without needing someone to tell me when to come into work, when to get off from work, or when to log onto the computer and when to log off on the computer, which that brought me so much freedom. And that is something that I know we all desire, and I'm going to get more into it. Just stick with me here. At that time, I did this until I figured out the real secret to passive income in the insurance industry, and that was in 2016. And I have not looked back. I will share that down the road. I even have a curriculum where I talk about that because so many people talk about making money in the insurance business, but they really don't tell you how or where the real secret is to passive income. The money I made in my insurance career, I used to purchase stocks and options, which provided me with more passive growth in my current portfolio. I learned how to trade stock options in my 20s. That was when I worked as a stockbroker. Yeah, I did. I voluntarily gave up that because there's more in that in another time, but When you learn how to trade and you understand how it really works, and you see some of the things that they don't tell you as to why you're not succeeding and others are in trading. So that's something I had to learn. And I actually read it in a book, How to Trade Stock Options. And that's when the game changer really happened for me. I'm sharing all of this with you because I want you to know that you can do it too. I have taught individuals in the past and recently did a class. The hard truth is that many don't want to take the time to learn, and they just want someone to do it for them. Hey, that would be great if someone would just do it for me. Yeah, there are brokers out there that will place trades for you, and there are trading houses out there, stock trading houses that will do some of the work for you. But ultimately, you've got to know what's going on with your own money. So if you think you're going to just bypass it by not doing the work or getting someone else to do it, I have sad news for you. That's not going to happen. I can tell you right now that if that is your motto, then you're not going to go far in life. You're not going to grow far in life if you're not willing to put in the work. No one owes you or me anything. You have to rely on God and His generosity to show you opportunities you must take in order to make your life better. I also use passive income that I receive every month from my insurance business to build my husband and I credit. So we moved for the love of a family member years ago, and we lost pretty much everything we owned. And we had to rebuild, which was extremely hard. Yeah, people talked about us, they judged us, they didn't understand that we were hardworking, good people, and we only moved based off of the word and the credibility of that family member. It was actually someone whom I loved and adored and trusted. And so that impacted our lives greatly. And it also impacted our credit score when we lost pretty much everything we owned. And so we had to start back over. I don't despise any of it, and you shouldn't too. If you had to go back and redo things or do a do-over, I know that was the case for a lot of people from 2020 until now. Well, this happened way before 2020 for me, and actually 2020 and 21 was pretty good to me, and also 2022. Why? Because I knew how to build passive income. I learned that years prior. But I'm talking about the extreme difficult that we all have to go through, which is learning how to build or rebuild when we've lost everything. So enough about talking about me. Let's talk about the solutions, how you can build passive income and get multiple streams of income. And just in case you don't know the real definition, I'll just give you my definition. It's being able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and not need to figure out the money to do it. That's the passive income. So I don't have to be stuck at a place that I don't want to be at. I don't have to be sitting in front of a person that I may not necessarily want to sit in front of to make money. I actually have that time freedom and that financial freedom to do some things that I want to do. And that's what some of the solutions I'm going to give you today is going to allow you to do it. So let's get more into it, okay? So solution number one is going to be spending. Many people struggle because they don't have a handle on their spending. Now, I'm not saying you have to live poor, you have to cut down everything or live a boring life, but you are going to have to restructure and repurpose the money that you currently have to create an emergency fund if you don't have one. Many people found that to be the case when everything went bellied up in 2019, 2020, you know, the things we've all gone through. And with this economy, so many people didn't know what they were going to do because they didn't have an emergency savings. Or maybe they had an emergency savings, but then they ran through that. But then what? That's the reason why you want several streams of income and you want passive income. And I know so many people talk about it that's not living it, but I'm actually a product of it. The first one is insurance. I've been doing really well with that, and that has provided me passive income. The other one was stocks. I've been doing really great with that as well, and being able to provide more income through my portfolio. But let's talk about how you can restructure your spending. Many people have memberships to places that they don't use, gym memberships, subscriptions to things for television, and they have like 5 subscriptions, but they're only watching one, or nobody's watching any, or it's a family unit of 6, and they all can watch the same stuff, maybe at different times. I get it, because kids are going to like cartoons, adults are going to like, maybe women, it might be love stories, and men's, it might be sports. But you don't need all those subscriptions. And all that money that you're throwing away, that you even forgot about, that you're paying for every month, you could be using that to build your emergency fund. Maybe it's a cup of coffee you're drinking on a regular basis. You can cut down on that some. Instead of getting it every single day or every week, maybe do it every 2 weeks or once a month, or make your own, whatever you have to do. But you've got to be serious and you've got to be intentional, especially in this economy. What you want to do is, once you've got your emergency fund built, and I would say have 3 to 6 months. Most people say 6 to 8 months, but I know in this situation sometimes it's hard. If you can at least get 3 months going, then that's a great start. From there, you want to create more income by seizing opportunities. What is your God-given talent? What do you have to sell? What opportunities have you passed over? Have you ever heard the word poor? I've heard someone say the definition of that is passed over opportunities repeatedly. Poor. And I can actually relate to that. There were opportunities in my life in the past that I passed up over. And then later on, I looked at it and thought, man, shoot, I should have took that opportunity. But then there were a lot of opportunities that I didn't pass up. And that's why I'm sitting where I am today and have the freedom and the income that I have today. So let's talk more about that. Creating more income. So many people are doing deliveries nowadays. People are finding ways to solve a problem. That's the biggest thing to creating additional income. We'll go into that a little bit more, how I solve problems and how I'm getting paid for it. So many people do. Even YouTube. YouTube is solving so many problems for masses and masses of millions of people. That is the reason why they're so successful. So let's talk a little bit more, and we're going to transition into money, because I think that's so important. And you've heard the saying, it takes money to make money. Oh, you just said a word. Let me take a drink off of that. And this is H2O, by the way. You will need money. How you get it and the time it takes is the trick. For me, I no longer trade hours for dollars anymore. I have a lot of time freedom, and I know what I need to do if I want more money, because I have vessels that I have created, vessels so that I will never have to go through what I went through in the past teen dinosaur years, as we talked about, and even recently, 5 years ago, things that I had to go through. Now, I know anything can happen, so we never say never. I know that anything can happen and nothing is ever guaranteed, but that you will live and that you will die. You're born and you die. I hear people say that. So for all of the logilistic people or realist people, that's true. However, I believe God showed me doors to go through, and I went through them, and I continue to go through them. And I believe He does the same for you. Create a solution to a problem is how many are successful. So back where I was talking about earlier, creating a solution to the problem, here we go again with that. So what solution are you creating for someone that has a problem? For me, I'll use me as an example. I help individuals pay for their health care and death expenses and leave a legacy. That is huge. So many people know that the quality of care they get is based off of the quality of health insurance that they have. So that's something that I help individuals with. I also help individuals with death expenses. When they pass on, they don't have to worry about their families going to do GoFundMes or trying to figure out how they're going to take care of their burial. But that's just the minute part of it. The biggest part of it is who you leave behind. If you leave behind children, if you leave behind parents that you're taking care of, if you leave behind pets or anybody who would need you and you're no longer there, how are they going to survive financially? Or even if it's chores, who's going to take the dog walking? Who's going to cook for the kids? Who's going to clean the house? Who's going to do those things that you used to do? God forbid. So those are the things that I help provide a solution to. So what is the problem that you can solve? I give a ton of value. I educate, I encourage, I empower, and I live by example before I ever receive a commission for the work that I do. What are you giving value to? Or who are you giving the value to? So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about focus for a moment here. Let's switch gears just a little. One of the biggest problems that I've noticed when I was a stockbroker, at one point I almost became a CFP, a certified financial planner. I went through all of this stuff and then realized I didn't want to do it anymore because for me, it was like people were charging quite a bit of money and I just didn't agree with everything. And I'm okay with people charging for services. I charge for what I do. I get paid from the insurance companies, or if I'm going to counsel someone, I won't say counsel, but if I'm going to coach someone, that's another way. Of course, I would charge for that. That's not something I'm just going to definitely give away for free. However, I do give a lot of value, like on these channels, before I ever ask a person for a dime. And so, one of the things how I've noticed and I've seen why individuals are not financially where they want to be or desire to be is because of the distractions. You've got to rid yourself of all of the distractions. There are a million things that are happening throughout the day, throughout one week, that would blow your mind. So many things to take you off of your course. So you've got to learn how to rid yourself or minimize the distractions that are going on in your life. Yeah, I said it for real. The distractions. I said distractions. This is not a rewind. Distractions are just that major in people's lives that I had to put some extra D's on the distractions. So you've got to become a little more tunnel vision. Start focusing. Learn how to work and then play, or do some in between. But you can't just play and expect to have all this money or be extremely successful. There is going to be some time in there where you've got to work. And many reasons, again, people struggle to accomplish things is because they lose focus. People and other things grab their attention. Who are you letting hold your time and attention on the phone all day, all night? Who are you watching that you're letting them take your attention? People that maybe not even know that you're watching them, but you're sitting there watching them and you're not productive taking care of the things that you need to take care of. Stop answering the phone and giving your time and attention to frivolous things. Yeah, there's a time and a season for everything. I love to joke and I love to have fun, but I truly believe that if you're not where you need to be, then some of that is because you're not managing your time properly. And some people want to be all fun, all games, and no work and no accomplishments. And that is not how you're going to succeed. Take it from me. I know I've been there. I'm not trying to be hard on you, but I just really want to get there on the focus. And then if you don't believe me, Google it. Google how distractions and not being focused causes people to live a life less than what they really desire to live. All right, let's move on a little bit more. Another area that I want to talk to you about that's going to help you to build these multiple streams of income is generosity, having a generous spirit. If you are idle or you have a lot of time in your day to just chill and you aren't rich enough to bless others, then you are not focused. And when I say rich enough to bless others, that doesn't mean you have to be a multimillionaire or billionaire. When I say rich enough, meaning you can take care of all of your bills, like I can, not bragging at all, and then being able to help somebody else that's in need. If you're always the one sitting in the need seat, then there's a problem with that. That means that you are not focused and you're giving your attention and time to things that are not building you, that's not helping you to grow. I know this for a fact because, again, I'm only sharing things with you that maybe I've had to go through or things that I've had to teach others through along the way. So and that's another thing I want to go into really quick. And here's another thing, a caveat to that. If you only care about you and your family being financially well, then you are too selfish. And you need to really hear from God. That's another thing I hear people talk about all the time. Oh, I just want to make sure me and my family are good. My kids are good. I'm good. My husband's good. Or my wife is good. My spouse is good. And that's it. We were placed on this earth to be a blessing to others. Now, there is another caveat to that as well. Don't get me wrong. You have to take care of home before you can take care of anything else. Home is your first ministry. Home is what you go to every day. So if that is not good, then it doesn't matter about all of the other stuff. So I'm going to say again, if you can't afford to take care of you, then certainly you can't help anybody else. So first, you got to take your numero uno. You got to make sure your bills are paid. You got to make sure your kids are taken care of, they're fed. You got to make sure that you have home good first, and then you can bless others. So let me give you an example. I don't have to share any of this wisdom or knowledge with any of you on this channel. I personally could make a channel just shooting the breeze, filming myself eating all day. People love that kind of stuff. Or just filming myself throughout the day, which I do have a lifestyle days that I do show on my channel. Those are typically on the non-days that I'm not talking about business, faith, or finances, because I understand people want to see that you're a real person and not that you're just this figure. And I am a real person. But I say that to say I don't have to share things to help you grow, to help you build more income, to find streams of income. I don't have to do that. And I could still have a successful channel. I could still have followers and so forth and so on. But what good is that? I know that my place on this earth is for more than just me and my family. And so the same for you. So that's the reason why you have to be generous. You have to be willing to give outside of just what's going to benefit you or your family. Have you heard the saying, we are his eyes, his ears, his hands, and his feet? That saying is true. It's not going to just happen by osmosis. It takes people and individuals to get things done in the earth, to get things done in the world, to solve problems. So that's one of the things that you've got to have is you've got to have a generous spirit. If you're not generous and you're selfish and you only care about your for and no more, then you're only going to get but so much your for and no more. And what I mean by that is, why would God be generous enough to give you great abundance for you and your family to just sit on it or hoard it or to show it off and brag about it? No, he gives abundance to those who have a mission for those abundance. Yeah, newsflash. You're not just going to get all of this just so you can sit high and mighty and just be wah, wah, wah. It is for you to help other individuals. It is for you to accomplish the mission that he has for us here on the earth. And I realize everybody don't believe the same. That's why I'm not trying to talk religion to you today. That's the reason why I'm not trying to push my belief system off on you. But I am telling you what is a general truth of the law for everybody. And we all know what generosity looks like. We've all been products of generosity. And hopefully we've all been examples of generosity. And that is something that you have got to do, is you've got to learn how to give in order to receive, you know. And you've got to know that it's so much bigger than you. That's why I thank God for this YouTube channel. I thank God for the internet. Although there may be some bad things that happen on there, and I hear people say that all the time, I do realize and know that there's a lot of good and we can reach a lot more people. Okay, let's keep moving on, because I know you're saying, Ebony, you're going to talk about more streams of income, but I just keep hearing you talk about other things. Yeah, because we have to address all things. We have to address this up here. We have to address this here, and then we can address more of this, okay? So let's talk about some action here. So, oh my goodness, OMG, if I just had a penny for every time we all did this, your girl would be in much more digit zeros than she already is. So stop. I say this, and I say this with all sincerity and love and heart. Stop making plans and just do it. OMG. If I have learned anything in this past year, 10 years ago, or even further than that, I would have saved myself from so much heartache, foolery, frustration, gray hairs, sorrow, arguments, pounds of overeating, trying to make sure that I dotted every I and crossed every T before I started my business, before becoming an author, before inventing something, before opening up a franchise or investing in the stock or anything else. It would have cost me royally. And it's costing a lot of you royally, because you are waiting until things are perfect to take action. 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 Faith is action. Again, I'm not trying to be preachy here or religious, because I understand everybody has their own belief systems. I'm here to just provide you with some tools, and then I let God do the rest. But action is something that you have got to take. You can no longer sit on the couch. You can no longer hope and wish. You can no longer say, I might, I hope one day if I could, I should, I would. Well, I want it to be this way. Well, I don't want to do it until I have 100,000 supporters. Well, I don't want to do it until I know that it's going to be the number one hit. Well, honey, sir, I'm here to tell you you're wrong, 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 wrong for that. Because people need what you have right now. It's all about being in the right time and season. And there's no way he gives us these wonderful opportunities and gifts for us just to sit on it, sit on it, sit on it, sit on it. People have died already that didn't get to hear the things that you could have given to them, that could have maybe bettered their lives, maybe could have helped them in some way. I'm not saying save their lives. Don't misunderstand me at all. But I am saying too, there's no better time than now to do what it is that you need to do so that you can live a good life, but you can also help others do the same. So let's go a little bit more deeper into that. Now, I'm not saying just throw anything out there to get started. By no means. I do believe in operating in excellence, and I strive daily, every single day to operate in excellence. But I just learned along the way to get myself out of the way so that I could take action. So I didn't keep sitting there saying, oh, I want to do this. I hope I can do this. Let me see. I don't know. And you just keep making plans after plans after plans after plans. I'll never forget, and I'll give you this real quick story. And it's a true story about, I'm sorry, someone had just sent a message. Hopefully they didn't cut me off. It's a real true story about a really good friend of mine. Years and years ago, we had started a business together. And a dynamic person, very, very intellectual, had a lot more degrees than I possess. However, when we started this business, I was excited and I was ready to go. I'm talking about gun ho. I'm a talker, as you can see. So I meet a lot of people and I get to know a lot of people. I'm a community person. So therefore, it's not hard for me to get a crowd together. It's not hard for me to get several people to show up if I'm going to do something, if I'm going to have an event or something. I remember even in the pandemic, I had done, I hated to say that word. I hope I don't have to scribble that word out. But I remember during hard times in 2021, where I had a seminar on insurance and I had people on Zoom. I had people in the room. And I literally had people that just weren't able to make it, but it was a nice size group of people. And I think I didn't even plan it 3 weeks. Maybe I had noticed that it was going to go down. And I literally didn't even get the location until like the week of. But I say all that to say that when I decided to do this business with this friend years ago, I had people already ready to come to our very first event that we were kicking off. However, it was a lot of reluctancy from my friend's side because my friend wanted to dot every I and cross every T. Again, my friend had a lot more education than me, and my friend was just very, very a stickler for that. And I say all that to say that, of course, the business didn't work out. However, I went on to do business and to do some things. And my friend actually started another business on their own. And even in that business, at that time, I don't know where they are today, but then they had not gone to where they wanted to go in their business because they kept getting stomped with the dot and all the I's and crossing all the T's. They wanted everything to be, spotless and perfect before they got started. And doing that does not guarantee you success. It's one of those things where you just got to get out there and do it. But okay, I'm going to get off of that. Enough of that story. Let's go into a little bit more about that. I promise you, you will be thanking me later if you start now, because I've been an entrepreneur at heart since I was 16 years old. I even had a coupon book selling opportunity where my mom's friend, he started a franchise. I don't know if you remember those little entertainment books that you could go through there. Look at my finger like I'm going through there. You could go through there and you could print out, you could see a coupon for like the movie theater. You could tear it out and you take it to the movie theater and you get a discount, or you could tear it out to a restaurant. Yeah, we're talking ancient. Remember, dinosaur years. Well, anyway, I remember when he gave me the opportunity to be one of his salespeople, and I would get a piece of the pie. So I think back then we were selling the coupon books for uh anything over $10, I would make a profit. So I think if I sold them at $15, I made a $5 profit, and he kept the rest. But we're talking about umpteen years ago. I was a teenager, so $5 off of every coupon book was money in the bank for me. But I remember even back then having that entrepreneurial spirit and not realizing, recognizing what it was. But now, even though I have no regrets of where I am today, however, I wish I had started on this journey of business and building streams of income earlier. If I had started earlier, I can't even imagine how many more people I would have been able to help than the ones I'm already helping now, and how much more knowledge I would have gained. Although 20 plus years later, although, that was way beyond that, but although now I am 20 plus years out from the stats of retirement when they say you should retire, and I somewhat live as if I'm retired right now because I have my own time freedom and I build streams of passive income to go along with it. I still wish I had have started sooner, because again, I could have helped more people and do things much faster if I had started earlier. So again, action, action, action is something that you need to take. So let's round this back up and go into some more fruit. I'm going to give you some more pointers on things that I'm currently doing. I'm sharing a little bit of my secrets in my portfolio that can help you. So one of the ways that I am earning passive income is through insurance. I am in insurance sales, and I have an insurance agency. So one of those ways is by having teaching others how to do what I do. I can get a percentage of what they do on a regular basis, daily basis, monthly basis, however often they write business, how often they write business. But not even that, because I'll be honest with you, that has been such a struggle when you are sometimes dealing with other individuals and everybody does not have the like-mindedness of you, or want to do the things the right way, or do the way the things that you've been taught to do them, or do the things that work. And so in situations like that, it can kind of slow you down. So not even from having the insurance agency standpoint, but just from my own self, what I can do, what I can produce, I have been able to build sustainable passive income. Things that I did in 2016, in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, and even last year, 2022, I get a check every single month for the work that I did way back then. And the same thing, if I decide to do any work this year in 2023, then I'll receive a monthly increase in my check of how much of a work I did this year for next year. So it is somewhat passive. It's more passive from what I did from 2016 through 2022. But if I do anything right now, that's more active, but then it later becomes passive. And this is money that I get forever and ever, as long as those individuals are still alive and they still have that policy that I sold them. So that is a win-win. So that's number one. Getting your insurance license is easy. There's not much to it. You sit down, you take a state exam for the state that you live in. Once you pass the exam, and they do like a little background check, you do get fingerprinted and all that. So if you got some priors, you might have a hard time. But anyway, once you do that, then if you want to sell insurance for other states, then you just have to get a non-resident license for those states. They don't require an exam. However, you do have to pay a fee to be licensed in those other states. But I'm telling you, it's the best thing since sliced bread. And then if you decide to build an agency like I decided to do, then you pretty much are duplicating yourself like a franchise. Every person that you train and teach how to do what you do, you get compensated for that. And the more people you train and the more people you teach, the more money you make. So it is absolutely dynamic. So that's number one of the ways I make money. With that, I'm in various parts of insurance. I'm in the Medicare industry, the life insurance industry, the health insurance industry. So I get paid through all three of those different industries, and I'm contracted with several carriers. So I get paid by multiple carriers on the Medicare side, I get paid by multiple carriers on the life side, and I get paid by multiple carriers on the health insurance side. So yeah, I see deposits coming in frequently, weekly, monthly, sometimes it can be daily. It just all depends on how what I've done in the past. I don't want to give all my information away, but that's number one, is making money that way, their insurance. Number two is because I've made such a good career and made great money in the insurance industry, as I stated before, I then take that money and I trade and I purchase stocks. So some of the stocks that I currently trade right now, I look at the economy. Right now, we're in the best time ever to get stocks at record low prices. I know people are looking at like, oh, they're going up and down and they're down and this and that. And it's all over the place. And that's true. Excuse me, let me get some water. By the way, they're not paying me to endorse them, but I'm just generous again. Brita water filter. OMG, I drink way more water when I put it in here. It filters out the water that you have out of your faucet. I don't even use my tap water. I actually use bottled water and filter it from there because there are obesogens in bottled water that kind of helps you to gain weight or keep your weight. So that's another topic, but back to that. Yeah, investing, things that you use, household things that you use. If there are stocks out there, then why not invest that way so that you're making some of the money back? And like I said, the stocks are really cheap right now, although, you know, we see the economy is not in the best state whatsoever. And they said we're in the word, you know what I'm talking about? And Eshin, I'll put it that way. It's the best time now to buy stocks because it's a playing ground, a level playing ground for so many people. There are some stocks that I personally would not have purchased because they were so expensive in the past that I now own in my portfolio, and it's a beautiful thing. And I know that things are going to go back around. Things are going to get better. They're going to improve. Don't believe the hype. I used to be a stockbroker. There is a cycle that this economy goes into like every 7 to 10 years. I know that might not always be true for where we are today because we are experiencing something that we have not experienced or never experienced maybe in our lifetimes, but trust and believe God is a good God. He's going to make sure that things turn back around for us. We have to survive on this earth. So there's no way we're just going to always be in a downward spiral in the economy. So when it does go back up and it does get better, you're going to be thanking yourself or even me if you took action today and purchased some of those stocks and things like that and bonds that were at a very low price. You were able to get in. I mean, there's stocks that were $50 a share. They're now like $9 a share. And some that was a couple of $100 a share where they did a split. And now they're $80 and $90 a share or less. So that's another way that I'm earning some more passive income in my portfolio. I know a lot of people do the lottery. I don't do the lottery, and I'm not judging you if you do, but your chances of winning that is so much slimmer than taking that same money and investing it. And there are some stocks and some assets that you can invest in that are fixed. There are CDs. I have CDs, so I do have safe accounts, and those are where I put the emergency money in. So if you have emergency money, put it into fixed accounts. I have another video, a shorter video. It's only 3 minutes long, and I talk about that same stuff, but I do it in a much shorter time on how to put your money into fixed assets if you're afraid of the market or you're afraid of the risk that you have to take. But I'm going to tell you, everything takes a risk. Getting up in the morning and going outside, you risk something happen. Going across the street, you risk something happen. Getting in your car driving. So that's the way I think, so that I don't trip myself out on unrealistic things. But yeah, realistically, you can lose money in the stock market. So I'll make that disclaimer. Do your research, do your homework, and do what feels right where you can go to sleep at night. Okay, another thing, we talked about the insurance, we talked about the stocks. Another way that I am earning passive income is in real estate. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of that because I don't like to talk about stuff until it's already coming to fruition, but I am working on some things there, and I can tell you they've got some hot stuff going on right now. A lot of people are investing in Airbnbs, OMG, and I'm not even talking about purchasing an Airbnb. They literally have what do I want to call that? Because I don't want to give any names away. Again, I'm not really, I'm not getting paid or endorsed for this video from any of these individuals. The only one that got the hit was the Brita water because you saw me drinking it. But other than that, there are some accounts out there where you can invest into real estate without physically actually having to go and buy the property yourselves. You can pull your money in, kind of like a mutual fund. If you know what a mutual fund is, if you don't Google it, get the definition of it. But like a mutual fund is where investors pool their money together and then they own fractions of shares of a particular fund. That's the same way that they have now with Airbnbs and a lot of real estate opportunities, where you can pull your money in together with other individuals and get a certain percentage. You can Google it, look it up, but it works. That's another thing that you can do. And that's not exactly what I'm doing, because I'm able to do something a little greater than that. Again, because I do have the passive income, but that is something that you can do if you want to get into real estate, is start looking for ways that you can pull your money with investors. There is a platform that they have set up, and they vet everybody, so you don't have to worry about if they're real, if the opportunity is legit, or if you're in business with 50 horrible financial people. You will be able to know that. So that is another opportunity. And that's something else that I'm doing is real estate. Another thing that I am doing is I'm investing back into myself. How am I doing that? I am launching another business shortly. My husband is a dynamic artist. Oh my gosh, if you look up there, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit if I can to show you. You see that there? That's some of my husband's artwork right there. He is really, really good at what he does. Now I'm going to bring the camera back down to me. He is an artist. And so that's another thing that I'm doing. I'm investing in his company as well, that he's getting up off the ground with doing artwork. He loves to paint. He has a knack for it. And so that's something else. Again, what are you gifted at? God has given us these talents and these gifts that we sit on, and they're meant to be utilized so that, one, we can bring and give something to the world, but also it's going to provide for us. It's going to provide the resources that we need, the money that we need, so that we can take care of this life and so that we can help others along the way. I refuse to believe that you have all these gifts and talents just for you to sit on them. There is a reason that you have them, and the world wants to see them. And it is your opportunity to produce income, but greater income, even wealth for some of you all. But you've got to make the move. You've got to take action. You've got to do the work. You've got to do the work. I can't do the work for you. YouTube can't do the work for you, although they are great help. Your family and friends can't do the work for you. You have to do the work. And this is the last thing I want to leave you with before we close out this video. I want to talk about believing in yourself. So I cannot let us go without talking about faith. And again, I'm not going to be preachy here. I'm not trying to take my beliefs and put them onto you. I let God do the work, but I am going to put those nuggets out there to get you stirring. You have to believe in yourself. That is the hardest part, I believe, of doing anything, of having a YouTube channel, of inventing something, creating a business, investing, having an insurance agency, anything that you do, you've got to believe in yourself first. And there's going to be a ton of critics. I'm here to tell you now, if you don't have tough skin, if you don't have a backbone, if you can't handle the naysayers, as the word would say, if you can't handle the footmen, what are you going to do when the horsemen show up? I had basic training. I dealt with this very early in my life, very young, before I was an adult, with people not believing in me and them saying hurtful things about me, even to my face, telling me I'm not good enough. Sure, I've struggled with being overweight all my life. I've always been an emotional eater, overeater in that way. I've lost quite a bit of weight. I'm losing about 10 pounds a month now, so doing great. You're going to see more videos where my face is going to get skinnier and skinnier. I won't let it get too skinny. But I say that to say there's always going to be doubters and naysayers. There's always going to be somebody who don't believe in you, somebody who challenges what you say, someone who doesn't like the way that you say it. And a lot of times it will be people in authority, believe it or not. because sometimes it's going to be the people that you care the most about, the people whose opinion that matters the most to you, the people that you want to please the most, the people that you expect to be the most excited for you, that will sometimes let you down, that will sometimes say hurtful things and things that's just hard, pills that's hard for you to swallow. But I'm telling you, you can do it. You have got to pick yourself back up when the world has torn you down. Please, please, please don't believe the lies of people sometimes who don't even know who they are. They don't even know what they like. They don't even know how to get started. They're too fearful to get started. So guess what? They're intimidated by your ambition, by your goals, by your words, by your beliefs, by your vision. But you have to know that you are more than well able to do it. You have to know that you have something that you can't even see back in you. You have to know that there is someone applauding you. God may even have someone applauding you in another country that you don't even know that they're applauding and rooting for you. Why? Because you have something that they need. Why? Because you can solve a problem that will make life better for them. Why? Because they believe in what you believe in. Why? Because they need the same encouragement and support that you need. So I admonish you to believe in yourself, to trust what you hear, to know that you can do it. And I'm talking about the good things that you hear, not the negative thoughts, not the bad thoughts, not the defeating thoughts, but the good. Because remember, all good and perfect things come from Him. So if it's good and if it's perfected in Him, then you best to believe that you have the green light to go for it, I'm telling you, there were many a times that when I even took the license to become a stockbroker, at the time I was working for a Fortune 500 company, and they told us that we had to pass the Series 7 exam in order to keep our jobs. And they gave us 3 weeks to accomplish something that people studied for months. Back then, they compared the exam to the bar exam, as if you were going to take an exam to become an attorney. That's how tough they said that exam was. And me having no background whatsoever in finances, didn't grow up around it, didn't have family members that talked about it or friends or anything, I was petrified. I was shaking in my boots. However, I believed in me. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, girl, you can do it. You can do it, Ebony. Anything you ever set your mind to do, you've been able to do. You can do it. Go for it. You won't know unless you try. And even if you try and you don't get it the first time, you're not a failure because you tried. And I said that to myself. I had to encourage my own self. I even had to, my wonderful husband of 22 years, tell him, listen, I'm not cooking nothing right now. I'm not doing X, Y, Z because I got to pass this test. And I was in my early 20s. Yeah, I got married in my early 20s. And it was the best thing I could have ever done. It was many people that did not pass that exam, which was sad. Many people that lost their jobs, but there were a few of us that did. We did it. We did it. We got it done. And you can too. So I admonish you to believe in yourself, to know that you can do it, to know that no matter how tough it is, what the odds are stacked against you, you can do it. And don't let age stop you. So I want to talk to the babies in the room. And I want to talk to the mothers and the grandmothers of the room, and the grandfathers and the fathers of the room. It doesn't matter how old you are. There's still so much life to you. There's still so much that people need from you. You have a solution to a problem. You maybe even have the solution to the world's problems. And you will never know until you put one foot in front of the other and you go out there and you do it. I didn't always start out being such an encourager. I've always been optimistic. However, life had beat me, and it had beat me really, really good. So there were times when I didn't have the energy, the strength, or the words to muster up to tell somebody else they could do it. But guess what? He always gave me enough strength to tell myself that I could do it. And as long as you believe in yourself, and as long as you try, and as long as you put in the effort, I assure you, you will have a better outcome than if you've never ever tried, if you never ever started, if you never ever gave any effort. So we're going to close with that. We talked about taking action. We talked about getting rid of the distractions. We talked about focus, money. We talked about spending, restructuring some things, and creating more income by seizing opportunities. So, in closing, I will be sharing more tidbits and my financial curriculum that I have authored. I will be offering that at some time to you if you're interested. It will help you save time. It will help you save money. And life you always knew you were meant to live, you will be able to live. Now, I'm not offering it in this video. I'm not offering it at this time because I really want to give value to you as an audience. I just want you to hear me for a while. I do have 100 videos now. This is my 100th video today. And it's my longest video, and I had to do it longer for a purpose and for a reason. So I hope you stayed all the way through. If you did, kudos to you. If you did, leave me a comment below that you stayed the entire time, that you listened to everything that I had to say, where you found value, what things you're going to try, what areas you're already making money in, or you're already seeing passive income, multiple streams of income. I want to say this to you: if you're very young, God has given me a better understanding of people who are much younger than me. And we know that it's not true, as they would say, that all younger people are lazy because they want to do it a shorter way or a faster way. I get it. My generation, where I am, I want to do it shorter and faster than my mother's generation. I don't want to retire at 70, at 60, or even at 50. And that is not throwing any shade to anybody that's retired at those ages. But in my age group, we want to do it a lot younger and a lot sooner. And I realize you younger people, you want to do it a lot sooner and a lot younger as well. You don't want to retire years and years and years and years down the road. Why? Because the world is different now. There's technology. There are so many systems. There's so much out there that makes things go faster, quicker, and easier than it did for my generation, my mother's generation, my grandmother's generation. And guess what? We older generations should be shooting and shouting out words of joy and encouraging you to go, 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 do it, do it, do it. Because none of us know the day or the hour that we will leave this earth. And many people, after what happened in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, now 2023, with so many people losing their lives, people want to get out and live life now, enjoy life. I'm hearing people tell me they're taking an early retirement. Some of my clients have taken early retirements because they really don't know how much more time they have. And they don't want their whole lives to have been summed up in work, 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 work. And then when you got to the age of retirement, there was no money for you. There was no fun things for you to do. There wasn't much joy for you to do it. And even some of the people that you love, that you wanted to do it with, have gone on to glory. They're not even here for you to enjoy and spend time with. So you younger folk, I understand you all. You're not going to do the traditional jobs the way that we did it. A lot of you are going to invent things and create things and find ways to do it faster, quicker, shorter period of times. But I say to you, Go back and help some of the older generation, maybe the ones that did have to do it the harder way, and we didn't have all the computers and we didn't have all of the social accounts that we got now. Go back and be a helping hand to some of them, because you can teach them and they can teach you. I truly believe that the younger generation needs the older generation and the older generation needs the younger generation. God doesn't leave anybody out. I hope that this video today was a blessing to you. Remember, my name is Ebony Boller. We talk business, faith, and finances on my channel, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you get me any other days, those are lifestyle days. Thank you so much for watching. And woohoo, I've made it to over 1,000 subscribers and I'm climbing. Come on, help me get to 10,000. I look forward to it. Mwah! Thank you. Bye-bye.